Welcome back to the Pucked Up Podcast, motherfuckers. I am your host this week. My name is Bag. I am joined today by two co-hosts. One of them is mysteriously absent. I think he got abducted, and I think her name starts with a B. Hope you're having fun with your
whose fault it
Chris.
is.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about who got abducted, and her name starts with a B, and I was like, none of that is correct, D.
It's like,
what
which
are
one
you
of us?
smoking?
I've just changed
some.
Chris's name. No, Chris is with somebody right now and could not come to the recording. The way I say it so vague makes it
And
sound
get your
like
minds
he's
out of the gutter.
Yeah, that's not what's happening.
That's not.
That's not it. But I am joined by my other co-host, the beautiful, the alluring Danger Water.
Oh, awkward.
And
yeah, you thought it was you.
Yeah, the handsome and the inquisitive Goss Mall. There you go. How's that?
Oh, look at how good that was.
I'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take it.
Yeah,
I figured.
it's good.
I mean, it's better than what I usually say about you. So,
Right?
especially when you're not here.
Oh no, I watch. I see everything.
Oh no, I know. All the times I said "fuck you, Mall" to Canada winning. Whatever, they didn't win that. Yeah.
Yeah,
no, the IW.
IHF Men's World Cup.
Hey, we can't win everything.
The not wrestling name that I feel like needs to be a wrestling name because it ends in an F.
Such a wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But every time I'm like, World Wrestling Federation? Nope, the wrong company. And they're not that anymore. So awkward.
Well, we have quite a show for you guys this week. Again, we record on Tuesdays. So last night we had the expansion draft for the PWHL. So I'm going to kick it over to myself to talk about what happened there. For you guys that don't remember, the Vancouver team, which is just PWHL Vancouver because they have not yet announced a name, they got first pick in the expansion draft. So with that, they picked Ashton Bell, a defender originally from the Ottawa Charge. They also got the fourth pick, and they got Brooke McQuiggy, forward for Minnesota Frost. With the fifth pick, they picked Abby Boreen, a forward for the Montreal Victoire. With the eighth pick, they picked Izzy Daniel, forward for the Toronto Scepters. Ninth pick was Gabby Rosenthal, forward for the New York Sirens. 12th pick was Denisa Krysova, forward for the Minnesota Frost. 13th pick was Sydney Bard, defender for the Boston Fleet. And prior to the announcement of the expansion draft, there was 5 people for each team, up to 5 people, and they both went with 5, that they got to pick from any team, just that was left unprotected. So from that, Vancouver also acquired Claire Thompson, a defender from Minnesota Frost, Sophie Jakes, a defender from Minnesota Frost, Emerence Mashmeyer, a goalie from the Ottawa Charge, Sarah Nurse, a forward from the Toronto Scepters, and Jen Gardner, a forward for the Montreal Victoire. Quite a team that they got put together. It was, I mean, so many fan bases upset when the players that were not protected were announced, and then especially when it got announced, the 5 that Vancouver and Seattle picked. So I'll finish the Seattle rundown and we'll talk a little bit more about it. So this PWHL Seattle, with their second pick, chose Aneta Tehralova, a defender of the Ottawa Charge. With the third pick, Hannah Bilka, forward of the Boston Fleet. 6th pick was Jessie Eldridge, forward of the New York Sirens. 7th pick was Julia Gosling, forward of the Toronto Scepters. 10th pick was Anna Wilgren, defender from Montreal Victoire. 11th pick was Megan Carter, defender from the Toronto Scepters. 14th pick was Emily Brown, a defender from the Boston Fleet. Now, prior to the expansion draft, they picked up Hillary Knight, forward from the Boston Fleet. Danielle Sardachny, a forward for the Ottawa Charge. Kayla Barnes, a defender of Montreal Victoire. Alex Carpenter, a forward of New York Sirens. And Corinne Schroeder, a goalie from the New York Sirens. So.
Okay, so I have a question for you. So you follow the PWHL probably more than any person that I know.
she's forced
Period,
into it.
right?
No, she does it out of enjoyment. But
with these
she's
expansion draft picks, how much do you think this is going to shake the stand-ins next season? Because historically in the NHL, when there have been expansion drafts, that team usually does very good the next year. Talking about you, Vegas, you got your expansion draft and went the next year to win the Stanley Cup. So, how do you think this is going to shake up the whole PWHL?
So, kind of jumping ahead then to our question of the week there, Mal. I think that this is actually going to be a pretty significant change. First of all, 4 players from Minnesota are now on the Vancouver team, and they're 4 key players. They got 2 defenders. Minnesota has done great defensively in the past, and then they also picked up, I'm sorry, yeah, 2 forwards. Denisa Krasova is someone who has notably scored like key goals for Minnesota in both Walter Cup championships. So that is a player who clearly works well under pressure. And when you're a new team, there's going to be a lot of pressure. You're trying to find your footing. You're trying to get to gel as a team. And if you are able to operate under all circumstances, I think that that's kind of key. Also, Seattle, they weren't slouching either. I mean, they got fucking Hillary Knight and Alex Carpenter. They picked up Corinne Schroeder as a goalie. They're going to be a pretty tough team to beat. And so I think with this, I mean, Minnesota obviously had a lot of people taken, but so did the other teams. I mean, Boston had a ton of players taken. I think they had like 6 or so, 5 or 6. And some of those being Hannah Bilka, Hillary Knight, Emily Brown as well. We're going to see a different landscape. Now, with that, I should also add that we have a regular draft coming up, right? Of the new inductees, of people who this will be their rookie year. And the cool thing about the PWHL is that since there are fewer teams, you're doing more your rookie year. You're not like playing in the AHL or the ECHL your rookie year. You are playing PWHL hockey as a rookie.
So it's easier to stand out and not kind of fade into the weeds.
Yep, exactly. So I think we're going to see some of these superstars that are coming up, some of these recent college grads who are now getting their chance to take what they did in college and make it even more impressive now in a professional women's league. I think they're going to come and shine. Do I think that Minnesota was the most impacted? I mean, statistically, no, right? Because of the fact that Boston had more players. Ottawa had a fuck ton of players taken as well.
Yeah.
Statistically, no. Teams like the Montreal Victoire, who had like 3, maybe, I guess it was 4, people taken. The Toronto Scepters had 3 people taken from their team.
I mean,
they're not going to fare
sense.
as poorly. Yeah. Or as they're going to be fine for the most part. Now, the people that were taken, obviously, some big names there. Sarah Nurse standing out prime amongst them.
Yeah.
That's a big loss for Toronto.
Hillary Knight is a big one too.
For Boston,
even though I think she's the one that doesn't she have a bunch of like penalty or not penalty, but like fine. Who is it then? Hold
on. That was
sorry.
She was actually not selected by another team.
She wasn't traded. Okay.
No, but she was on that unprotected list. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think this is a big shakeup. Yeah.
It'll be interesting too to see how the teams that did get a chunk of players from one team fare. You know, like what I think both Vancouver and Seattle got like 4 players from one team.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good start for them because those 4 women already know how to play together.
Oh, absolutely.
Great point.
Yeah, they have the synergy already. Like they know how to play off each other's strengths and weaknesses. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that.
So it'll be interesting to see how far Vancouver and Seattle go next season. I mean, of course, I hope that the Frosts can make it a 3-peat. But it'll be interesting as we get more and more teams in.
And I think you're going to see a lot with the draft, with the actual scheduled draft coming up too, because then you're gonna have a better understanding and idea of the
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
teams going forward, and then
absolutely.
you can kind of look a little bit more analytically into it. Because right now it's like there's a lot of holes everywhere, so it's like let's plug those
Yeah.
holes and
Oh,
see what we
yeah.
can do to fix it. Now, a lot of it's going to be on the
When is their
coaches
draft?
to be able to be
Oh,
like,
no, I
hey,
need to...
let's reassess what we need, what we missed, and what we lost. How can we fill that? You know, because we
Yeah.
see that a lot in the
Right.
NHL. Is they'll pay attention to one area over the other, and then other areas will kind of fall short, and that's when they become weak spots. So, you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's they have a lot of work to do, and I'm excited to see how the draft's gonna go.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wah,
Well,
wah. I don't live
Thank
there
you for
anymore.
the question of the week, Mal.
Don't worry, I
Um,
have a replacement one.
Nope.
Nope,
Nope.
I got a
We did the
replacement
question
one.
of the week.
No, I got a good replacement one. I'm gonna ask it now because it's a great follow up question. Damn it!
I mean, that's the question of the week. So
I'm not gonna lie, I was
you
literally
asked it early, and that's what it is. Sorry about it.
I was like, wow, this is a really. I was like,
no, just
You're like, this is
fucking...
a really great question. Why does it sound so familiar? Oh, that's right, because it was in the fucking show notes.
there it is. I was literally like,
You're like asking it, and I was like,
you're like, you dumb
he?
mother.
asking the question of the week?
Yeah,
now?
100% asked the question of the week.
Yep.
The first question into the fucking show.
But you know what? That's
Fine.
fine. It fit
Fine.
really well with what we were talking about. It had a really good flow.
And we
I should
so
have
many
considered moving
times
it.
have gone
Yeah.
there
We've done that before.
and not asked to.
But I do have a good replacement question.
No, I'm not prepared for another question of the week. I'm gonna have to veto
It's
it.
a good question though,
Come
and it
back at
has
me
a lot
next
of
week.
really good points to that topic.
You did not provide me adequate time to prepare myself for a different question of the week.
I'm gonna ask it anyway.
I'll be the diva of the show.
It's gonna happen. It's
fine.
going to get asked anyway.
No, because there's only
mean-
one other person to answer it for me, unlike normal shows where there's two other
But it's
people to answer the
it's a
question.
you know what? I'm just gonna ask it right now. So here's the thing, right? With an NHL draft and expansion drafts and stuff like this, they get paid enough that when they move, it's not a financial burden to them, right? A lot of the PWHL players have full-time or part-time jobs to supplement the income that they should be getting paid. What do you think the
Sucks if they don't work
PWHL
from home.
Well, but that's what I'm saying is what do you think the PWHL should do to support them in moving across the
I don't
country
think
or to another country? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think it'll be very long before we see bigger salaries for these players because they're getting the attendance numbers to be able to offer that in the next, I'd say at most 3 years. And that's being kind because I really think they should offer them more now.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, a lot of teams, I can only speak to how it works on the PWHL or on the NHL side because they haven't actually defined it on the PWHL side.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a lot of information leaked about how that kind of works. With the NHL, because there's like an existing team and everything, a lot of times the team will pay to have you set up in like a hotel or something until you can find a place to stay, or your teammates will be like, hey, you want to come live in my guest house? Because they all have fucking guest houses because they're all, you know, whatever. And I think that there will have to, actually, hold on, I just found an article about it.
cool. Because like that,
with a little bit more information.
because that's the
So-
biggest thing with me is like if they have a full-time or part-time job that is like an in-person job, all of a sudden you're like, yeah, by the way, I just got traded, so here's my 2-day notice. See ya.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. It's a great question, but hopefully it doesn't affect it too much. I don't know what these women are doing in their off time because I'm sure their schedules are pretty demanding with practices and stuff. Like, yeah, they have further between games, but I'm curious about what. Now I would just want to know what jobs they have, those that are working other jobs.
Yeah. So, I mean, they have to find a new job, which is one of the differences between the NHL and the PWHL. There isn't anything that's like specific other than in the CBA, it mentions that the average base salary was $55,000. There's a 3% annual increase built in. So year 3 of the league, which is what we're going into, the updated average base salary is $58,350. For a standard roster, that's $1,342,050 for the team cap. The expansion team will be getting 12 players from the exclusive window, which means 11 coming from the draft, additional free agent signings, yada yada. The first round picks were paid minimum of $50K, second round picks 42.5, and third round 40. So it'll kind of be the same. And then the last 8 players will be paid at least the league minimum, which is $37,132. So that means that they're looking at roughly $76,000 per player is what they offer as a salary. And it also says during the initial league year, each team had to sign no fewer than 6 players to 3-year contracts with no less than $80,000 per league year.
Gotcha. Okay.
So their salary is that, but there's nothing that directly expresses like who covers the cost of them having to move. In the NHL, some of that is covered by the teams to an extent.
Right.
And the PWHL just doesn't have the money for that. So likely it is at the expense of the player, which is why so many people moving, it's kind of like their whole life is getting uprooted in a way that the men's league doesn't see
Right.
at all, to be honest.
No, absolutely. Well, and that's the thing is like it's not just them that have to move; it's their partners, their spouses, their children, their immediate household. Like it's just everyone's just okay. See you later. Like I guess I'll quit my job too.
It does look like it is covered in the CBA. According to the CBA, it outlines that the league and thus the team cover relocation costs for players up to $2,500. So this includes reasonable relocation expenses, temporary lodging, per diem, and transportation for a limited time. It also addresses lease breaking costs due to relocation. The relocation expense cap of $2,500 differs from other leagues that may cover additional costs like shipping cars and all of that. That is still pretty low.
Yeah.
To be honest.
That's not much.
Yeah.
It's like, here you go. You have enough money to rent a 32-foot U-Haul. Have fun. Bye.
Yeah, like the $2,500 is not going to cover the cost of movers.
Especially not of like breaking a lease. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that's 3 or 4 times your rent.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for these ladies having to travel across the country, like think about the people from the Boston Fleet that are now playing for Seattle or even worse for Vancouver.
Right.
That is,
and then they have to deal with a work visa and yeah.
So the league
Canada
will take care of the work
close.
visas. Yeah.
Right.
So I mean,
no, interesting question, Momo.
Yeah.
Way to break our entire way of doing things, but
that's what happens when you let me do the recording. Everything goes out.
You probably would have asked
Chris
anyway.
fucks with the editing.
Yeah. Well, with that, speaking of changes, there were player changes in the PWHL, but in the NHL, we had some coaching changes. Danger, you want to walk us through it?
Yeah, and we're just going to walk through everybody in 2025 because that's how my brain works, and that's what I found, and it's my segment of the fucking show. So the probably newest one, though, is Peter DeBoer, whatever, but I don't fucking care. Pete, if you will, from the not North Stars, from the Dallas Stars. Sorry, I've had half a bottle of wine. Can you tell? Anyway, but Dallas fired DeBoer on June 6th, which is 1 week after losing to the Oilers 4-1 in the conference finals. Fair firing there, I think. I loved their statement, though. After careful consideration, we believe that a new voice is needed in our locker room to push us closer to our goal of winning a Stanley Cup. The general manager, Jim Neal, said, some of us haven't won a cup yet, Jim. Fuck you. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. I'm sure you're a very nice man, Jim. From the Bruins, they fired Jim Montgomery back in November after he stumbled to an 8-9-3 start in the first 20 games. In his 3 seasons with the Bruins, though, he did have a record of 120 and 41 and 23. So, and Montgomery made the playoffs twice, but both trips ended at the hands of the Panthers. Oh, that's rough, Jim. Thanks. Luke Richardson from the Blackhawks, nobody shocked there, was fired back on December 2nd. The Blackhawks were outscored 41-27 while going 3-9-1 in 13 games before Richardson was dismissed. You're fired, Richardson.
Yeah.
Luke. I wanted to say Jim again, but I knew that wasn't right. One that kind of shocked me, but Philadelphia fired John Tortorella on March 27th with 9 games left in the regular season. Didn't help them, though. General manager Daniel Briere called it rock bottom. And this is the team's rebuilding effort. They were 29-36-9 in Tortorella's 3rd season at the helm. Lost 11 of the last 12 games before he was axed. Sorry, John. Makes sense. Moving on to the Ducks, we have Greg Cronin, who was fired on April 19th after the team missed the playoffs for the 7th straight season. Try 25. Almost. No, 25. 26 almost. For the Wild. Anyway, the Ducks were 35-37-10 in Cronin's 2nd season behind the bench. It was a 21-point improvement over last season, but it wasn't enough to keep him in a job. From the Rangers, we have Peter Laviolette, who was also fired on April 19th. Also, can I point out just a weird thing, because this is the second one that was fired April 19th? I've been fired from 2 jobs in my life. Both jobs, I lost my job on April 20th. What is with that, week? I'm going to stretch it to a week. The Rangers did win the President's Trophy and went to the conference finals in 2024, but missed the playoffs by 6 points in 2025. From the Kraken, they lost Dan Bleisma. He was handed his walking papers on Monday, spelling it an end to a 1-year run in the Emerald City. Not really shocking. The Penguins announced that their franchise and longtime head coach Mike Sullivan was gone, which was a huge one. He became their head coach way back in 2015-2016 season, and he led them to Stanley Cup wins in 2016 and 2017. Sullivan ended his time with the Penguins with a total of 409 and 225 record in 753 games. He also went 44-38 in 7 playoff appearances with the 2 Stanley Cup titles. The Canucks announced that Rick Tocchet, whatever his name will not be returning as their coach next season. He had a record of it was his first full season as their head coach in 2023-2024. And he led them to the first division title since 2012-2013 with a 50-23-9 record. He also won the Jack Adams Award as the NHL's best coach back in 2023. The team took a step back in 2024-2025, finishing 5th in the Pacific Division with 38-30-14 as their record, missing the playoffs for the 5th time in 6 years. Sucks, don't it? Let's talk about the good news of who was hired. Mike Sullivan was hired by the Rangers on May 2nd, which is awesome. Joel Quenneville was hired by the Anaheim Ducks on May 10th. He won 3 Stanley Cups during his time with the Chicago Blackhawks.
Yeah, we talked about that at length on that show, so we can skip.
Yeah, we won't go into the rest of it. Thank you for reading my mind. Rick Tocchet was hired by the Flyers. He was fired by his previous team. But hopefully he'll do well with Philly. Adam Foote was hired by the Canucks. He was an assistant coach for the last 3 seasons, so hopefully he will do well. He did coach with Kelowna of the WHL in 2018 to 2020. But that's his only head coaching experience. Lane Lambert, great name, for the Kraken, was hired on May 29th. He was an associate coach for the Maple Leafs. Assistant isn't even the word I was looking for. Anyway, during the 2024-2025 season, he led the Islanders as a head coach from 2022 to 2024. Dan Muse was hired as the coach for the Penguins. On June 4th, he spent the last 3 seasons as an assistant coach for the Rangers, and he was an assistant for the Predators from 2017 to 2020. He also served as the head coach for the U.S. U18 men's national team from 2020 to 2023. A very familiar name, Marco Sturm, was hired by the Bruins on June 5th. Why do they have to bring up what year he was born and how old he is? That's rude. Anyway, he played professional hockey from 95 to 2013, made his NHL debut with the Sharks in 1997, and was with them till 2005. He then played for Boston from 2005 to 2010, which is kind of nice. He gets to go home a little bit. So that's what I have thus far. Correct me if I'm wrong. For the hirings and firings of the NHL.
Yeah.
It's
Sturm
almost...
and Muse being the latest, and then DeBoer being fired was kind of groundbreaking.
It's almost like they've just cleaned house in all 32 teams this year. They're just like everything is gone. Like,
well, yeah, because Evanson got fired last season from the Wild. I think between the 2 years or 3 years at most, we've seen almost a complete turnover of coaches. I might be wrong in saying that, but I feel like that's accurate-ish. Accurate adjacent.
I don't feel like any other sport has the coaches get fired as much as hockey.
No, hockey is the biggest turnover.
There's the biggest turnover in coaching, I'm sure.
Like, it definitely seems like these last 2 years that I've been like heavily getting back into it and stuff, like it's just a rotated door.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, we'll keep you posted on anything else that happens, but as of now, that's what I have for you.
Well, in some sad news, we do have a retirement to announce, unfortunately.
No.
I know.
It's
very sad for me personally.
It is.
But last night, Timothy Oshie, that's not his actual name, TJ Oshie announced that he will be retiring after nearly 17 years in the NHL. He played in 1,010 regular season NHL games with the Washington Caps and the St. Louis Blues. Over the course of his career, he had 302 goals, 393 assists, and he added 69 points in 106 career playoff games, which is broken up into 34 goals, 35 assists. And then, of course, was on the 2018 winning Cup team. He was drafted 24th overall by the St. Louis Blues in the first round of the 2005 draft, following a successful collegiate career where he played he played in the WCHA All-Rookie team in 2006, and the first All-Star team in 2008 with North Dakota. And he made his NHL debut versus the Preds on October 10th, 2008. He was with the Blues for 7 years and then was traded to Washington in 2015. And he mentioned in his speech, actually, which I thought was kind of dope, to be honest. When that happened, when he got traded to the Caps, he was like, I wanted to stick around after my first 2 seasons. I was headed into free agency for the first time. And normally you see people get big raises and stuff when they go into free agencies, but he didn't want to leave. And so he was like, you have an exit interview with the coach and then with the GM, and you talk about your season and the team season, and what you could improve if you didn't make it all the way to the Cup and all that kind of stuff. So he said, I wanted to do something a little different and to do a small gesture to show how much I wanted to remain a Capital. I got a paper towel from the bathroom and a Sharpie, and on it I wrote something along the lines of, I, TJ Oshie, hereby agree to sign an extension with the Washington Capitals for blank years at blank dollars. I then signed the paper and underlined a spot for Mac to put his signature in, and I guess my agent might have gotten involved somewhere because those blanks were filled in with maybe a little bit more than I deserved, but the gesture was pure. I wanted to remain in
Oh,
Washington. I wanted to stay here for a lot of reasons, but mostly because of my teammates. Which was like really sweet and a really cool story to bring out. If you haven't seen his speech, go ahead and watch it. Although,
I
warning,
can't.
a grown man crying, so maybe bring tears. Or
Bring
maybe
tears.
bring tissues. I brought tears, so maybe you should bring the tissues, I guess. Um, he mostly read off of his paper because he was like, there's no way I'd remember all of this and I want to get it right. Um, and he also at one point specifically called out um, Backstrom, Ovechkin, John Carlson, and Tom Wilson. He said that they've raised their kids together, they failed together, cried together, laughed together, grieved together, and became champions together. You four have a special place in my heart, a bond reserved only for family. I consider you my brothers. Thank you for accepting me from day one and standing by my side through all of it. He also thanked the fans for the way that they have celebrated alongside of them and lifted them up when they were down. He obviously thanked his wife and his kids. That was like kind of the end of it. And he also said, in conclusion, way back in my younger years, my dad, along with the other coaches, would always put up a laminated quote on the door. The quote read, "Today I will give all I have, for this moment may never come again." That has always stuck with me because that is the only thing I've ever had full control over. No amount of skill, size, or speed could control how hard I worked and whether I could give 100% or not. That was only up to me. So to my family, friends, coaches, trainers, teammates, fans, and to the game of hockey, I promise you this. The moment my skates touched the ice, I gave you everything I had. With that, after 17 years in the NHL, I'd like to officially announce my retirement. And that's how it ended.
I love it.
And it was just like such a beautiful speech. And also, I love that quote of today I will give all I have, for this moment may never come again.
Yeah.
Like, that's genius. That should be in every locker room.
That should be.
Just so good.
That's
And
up there with play
obviously,
like a champion today.
You know though that
Like,
that pays
right?
homage though to this the reality that most people who try to get into a professional sports don't get into it. You know?
Right.
So
yeah.
like you're there because yes, you did earn it,
Mhm.
but
And
respect
he's
it,
such a
you
great
know?
guy too. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm sad that he's out. Like, and we, knew it was coming. He's been injured for 2 seasons straight,
Yeah. Yeah.
two and a half almost.
Last year he didn't get to play much because of his injury, and then this year he played
Yeah.
like 2 games maybe. I don't even know if he played that. I think he's been out all year.
Oh, and he's off the
No.
injury list.
I know. With him officially announcing his retirement, he has moved off of the injury list because he will not be
Yeah.
returning
No, I
to
know,
Washington.
but I didn't expect it to be gone already.
I know. I know. It really sucks. And like as a Caps fan, who has always loved TJ, like he was the first jersey I bought. I bought my brother a signed TJ Oshie puck at a auction for
That's
charity.
awesome.
He's like I think he's just a great player, and he was so integral to the culture there in Washington. He is a fucking golden retriever, 100%.
Yeah.
If
Yeah,
you've
I
ever
didn't
seen any of
realize he
his
was born in
antics.
Mount Vernon, but I know of one other person actually born in Mount Vernon, and that was George Washington. And I don't think he was born there, he just lived there a really
Lived there,
long
yeah.
time. So, yeah.
Yeah. He's
And he
a
did so
great
like
guy.
look at what he did for the little bit that I'm sure he thought it would be at the time of starting his company, and I can't for the life of
War
me
Road.
fucking remember the name. Oh yeah, it's just Ward Road. Okay.
Mhm.
I thought there was some special name for the shirts. But the cut proof like long sleeve shirts
Mhm.
that they make in addition to other items, both for youth
Yeah.
and professional players is huge. We talked about that at length when Adam Johnson died,
Yeah.
and about TJ's company and how a lot of the guys had started wearing that. So thankfully he's gonna be fine. But it's a sad retirement to see come through for sure.
You know what
It
though?
is.
He's also my age though and fucking retired. So fuck you. Like,
It comes also though
we put
as
that
he just recently released a documentary titled Coach, which is about his dad's battle with familial Alzheimer's, and how difficult that was. So that is also happening at the same time that he is,
I
you know, having to
can't.
relive the memory of his dad passing away just 4 years prior.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot going
And
on
Alzheimer's
for
is
Oshie.
such a bitch.
Yeah, yeah, it really is. It's only a 39-minute film, apparently,
Oh,
and it is
I'll
going to
have
be
to look at
released
it
more
sometime
broadly.
when I feel like crying. Which
Yeah.
is why I have yet to even still watch the Flurry
no.
retirement video, let
Yeah.
alone
Right. Yeah.
TJ's. Because I was telling these guys before we recorded, I don't have the energy to forfeit right now in crying.
Yeah.
So I don't volunteer it. But it's like Old Yeller. There's these things going on a list for me of like, hey, Amber, when you really need to fucking cry and you can't,
Yeah.
if you know, you know, watch these things and you'll cry those tears.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. But TJ, buddy, we wish you the
Thank you.
best. Yeah.
And on the
Well,
positive
I
side,
feel like I interrupted you.
no, I was just gonna say, like, I think the positive thing about this though, because I always try to find the positive in everything. He's going out on his own terms. You know what I mean? Like
There.
he
Yeah.
came
Kind
back
of,
like,
like-
he's not. It's not because of like a career-ending injury. Like he's like, you know what? Now is my time. I'm making the decision. I want to retire instead of being forced out or injured out. You know,
Yeah.
so
Or
I mean,
traded.
I think that
He's getting to retire
yeah,
at Capital,
yeah,
which
God
is most
forbid he be
important.
traded.
yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah.
think he, to an extent, is realizing that he will never be the same player that he was because of his injury, and therefore, like, I'm sure that contributed because he's 38. He's like 6 months younger than me. Fucking bastard. Sorry, my birthday is in 5 days as of time of recording, so I'm feeling a little old, to say the least. But like, you know, I mean, and that's up there for hockey players. I mean, he's 38, like almost 39. They fucking wanted to put Fleury in a retirement home. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
know. But it's still sad.
Well, again, TJ, we wish you the best. Now let's have some. Well, actually, no, this isn't happy news either. Fuck, Maul, can you update us on how the Stanley Cup playoffs are going?
Well, you know,
No,
it
I don't
depends
wanna
on
talk
what
about it.
side of the table you sit on, because this is either really good news or really shitty
You're our
news.
friend Wes.
I know.
You're super fucking happy right now.
But go fuck yourself.
Go fuck it.
So the series started fantastic. Oilers came out of nowhere, brought it to first overtime with a 4-3 win. Game 2, well fought game. Double overtime. Marchand got that last backhanded goal, which what a friggin' shot it was for the Florida to win in double overtime, almost triple overtime. 2 back-to-back OT games in the Stanley Cup playoffs. That is what we want, and that's what we're hoping to continue to see until Game 3. Game 3 in Florida, what a completely different tone it was. It wasn't... Something happened to the Oilers at Customs because the same...
Blame the TSA agent.
Yeah, the same team didn't go through those x-ray machines and those body scans or whatever they're doing there nowadays. Because the Florida Panthers beat the Edmonton Oilers in regulation 6-1.
Yeah.
They didn't just say, hey, we're going to show you what we're going to do. They beat them into the ground.
Yeah. And boy, howdy, were there a lot of fucking penalties.
Yeah.
Oh boy,
in that
howdy
game.
is right.
According to ESPN, this is the 4th I'm going to say statistics tonight because Chris isn't here, and I know he's a statistic guy. According to ESPN and NHL.com, that the Game 3, which took place on Monday, June 9th, is the fourth highest PIM game in a Stanley Cup final at 140 minutes. Yikes.
Yeah. It was pretty rough.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're not going to show up to play hockey, might as well box. Because I hate to say it, that's something got the Oilers going because they forgot how to play hockey and all they wanted to do was fight. Every chance
Which
they
they
got,
did a lot of.
Yep, and every chance they got, they were picking a fight. And I think that
Yeah.
they got to clean it up a little bit. Hopefully, the locker room talk helped them out. But when this video gets posted, we will be past Game 4 and looking to Game 5. So, fingers crossed that we can tie the series back up.
I mean, I would obviously like to go to a Game 7. For the sake of my sanity, and like my pride, I picked the Oilers winning. So if they don't, that sucks.
It's your
you
fault.
know what I mean? Yeah, it's entirely my fault.
We've
No,
disagreed.
it's the Oilers' fault.
No,
God damn it.
no, D and I have disagreed almost on a lot of our picks for the Stanley Cup Finals. And the one time she decides to come over to Team Ball.
I agree with D on this one.
But you said that you were picking Florida.
No, I said Edmonton, but I'm okay with Florida if and only if, well, because and only because Marshy is there.
You know what, though?
I
mean,
interpreted that as picking Florida. I'll have to change the bracket.
No,
as much as I
said the Oilers.
As much as I really want Oilers
Or I
to
wanted
win,
to say it, whether or not I typed it.
I think it would be awesome to watch Marchand be able to host that trophy.
Oh yeah, it'd be the biggest fuck you to Boston ever.
Oh
yeah,
and for his
trade
career,
me, and then I win the Stanley Cup.
It would solidify this year as probably the best in his career because Four Nations and Stanley Cup in the same year.
Right,
that's pretty wild, you know.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sorry, Mal, we haven't gotten your reaction live yet. Who won the Four Nations face-off?
Canada.
I'm so sorry. Who?
Canada.
No, I don't think Canada won it. Who was it?
Oh, sorry, you said the Four Nations?
Four Nations?
It was Canada.
Yeah, Four Nations, Canada won it. It was the IHF.
Oh, I sorry.
Shh, keep drinking your wine.
Well, Canada did in fact win the Four Nations. However, the U.S. won the IHF.
It's gonna crawl under my desk quick. Fuck up.
Oh god, that's gonna be a blooper.
No, I have too many.
But yeah, we have plenty of time left. I mean,
yeah, sit that close. I get too red.
The Oilers are only down 1 in the series. That's not, uncomebackable from. That's not a word.
Uncomebackable. Still fuck you, Mom.
Yeah.
No, and you know what? We saw this last year where honestly, like the Oilers at a deficit can come back because last year they pushed 3 games in a row to force a Game 7. So again, I've said this week after week. If any team can do it, it is the Oilers. They just got to get their head out of their ass.
I mean, LA got 2 games on them, so
right.
It's doable. Vegas only got 1. So we'll see. Like I said, plenty of hockey left to be played.
But it's hard because you know what, though? I will give it to Florida. They fucking show up.
They do.
They are a wild and dedicated fan base.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I would be scared to go from, middle of nowhere Edmonton to Florida.
It's a huge fucking city.
Yeah, but when you take when you take Edmonton and put it down to Florida, where they play in No, not Jacksonville. Where the hell do the Panthers play? I can't remember.
Sunrise.
Hold on.
Sunrise? Is that the name of the town? Hold on.
Yeah.
Anyway, when you
Hold
put
on.
listen.
Hold on.
I'm standing by.
No, we're not done here. We're not fucking done here. They have over 1 million people.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. Amaranth
It's pretty big
Bank
for
Arena
Canada.
is Sunrise, Florida.
Okay. And how much is in the Sunrise, Florida? Which is like.
Hold on. I'm looking.
It is 96,808.
Less than Edmonton.
Until Florida Panther fans show up.
Oh, shut up!
No?
There's 85 fucking teams in Florida.
So, I mean, Edmonton has more than Sunrise, Florida. Just by the numbers.
Edmonton has like over 6,000.
Then fine. You know what? We'll blame it on the heat.
Sunrise. It's a dry heat in Florida. It's different than Indiana.
It's a very humid heat. It's humid heat. Anyway, Oilers. What the hell is going on, guys?
I love it here.
How did you go from pushing OT, 2 games back to back, fighting for your lives, proving that you deserve to be there, to become the next Toronto Maple Leafs?
Dude, I was watching.
Whoa!
No, I was watching someone who was live reacting to the game, and he was wearing an Oilers shirt, but there was a big Toronto Maple Leafs flag in the background, and I was like, maybe you're the reason. You might be the reason. This
might be the plague that is infecting Edmonton right now.
The Maple Leafs fans that jumped onto the Edmonton train
are
what's fucking it all up. So
don't at me right now. Don't at me right now. No.
That are on Edmonton's train right now.
Yeah.
Because
all you Toronto Maple Leafs fans, maybe just consider rooting for Florida for a minute.
Yeah, unlucky pieces of shit.
But guys, this means that there's a world in which we have two episodes left in our season.
Yeah.
Or just one. Because if Florida can put it away in these next 2 games, then our Tuesday recording will be after the Stanley Cup has been hoisted. If they cannot, if the Oilers make them work for it, then you have 2 more weeks.
Which means you guys still have to get Chris's color down below. You got 1 to 2 more weeks to do it.
But a 3-year-long mystery.
This is it. Don't let this go to the next season. Figure it out now.
No. Do this for me. Okay. If you've ever wanted to do a favor for me. Just me. Right? Me and you talk. Spam the comments with different colors. Just fucking spam
every color.
Yep. Every palette.
Every color.
Yep.
Even ones chartreuse, plaid, all of the ones we have said before. Fucking spam them. Because Chris isn't here and he will lose his goddamn mind.
Olive green.
Sage green. Light green.
Mint green.
Grass green.
Lime green.
Macaroni orange or yellow, depending on how colorblind you are. All of the Crayola colors.
Yeah.
I was thinking initially just the colors in the color song.
Now,
it Disney's.
I don't know that song.
Quick tidbit about that. If Chris's favorite color is gray, but they spell it Grey instead of Gray, will they still get credit for it?
Nope.
Or they're right. I don't remember which I believe in my core anymore. But I do know that I will die on the hill of it is duck, duck, gray duck, not duck, duck, goose. I will die on that hill.
I'm ambigradus.
I'm ambigradus. I hate that my name is Amber right now. I hate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So that's all I have for playoff updates, and hopefully Game 4 goes a little bit different, but I don't know.
We'll see. When is Game 4?
Thursday. The 12th.
We'll see. We shall see, Maul. All right. Well, actually, speaking of playoff updates, we have had some naughty boys now, Danger, haven't we?
We've had one that has hit the presses, as they say. And unfortunately, it's an Edmonton player Jake Wallman was fined $5,000, the maximum allowable under the CBA, for roughing Florida Panthers forward Matthew Tkachuk, which, as I said while we were on break, can you really blame him? But that was during Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final in Florida on Monday, June 9th, aka yesterday as of time of recording. The incident occurred at 14:44 of the third period. Should you want to see him get punched in the face, Tkachuk, that is. Oh shit. Wallman was also fined $5,000, the maximum allowable under the CBA, for unsportsmanlike conduct for an incident involving Florida's bench during Monday's Game 3.
So
that incident occurred at 16:49.
I believe he sprayed water at the opposing team's bench.
So that was the water fight incident.
So then,
there we go.
And then he
comes
punched
full circle.
Tkachuk in the face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's better than Tkachuk's own brother punching him in the face or whatever.
Imagine getting $5,000 penalty for having a water fight.
No, they should get high-fived for having a water fight. That's amazing and the best hockey ever.
But unfortunately, because of it, well, when Kasperi Kapanen got bounced on the game misconduct, because remember, there was like 14 fucking roughing calls and like 7 game misconducts or something.
In 3 minutes.
As Kapanen was leaving, one of the Florida Panthers fans decided to dump her beer out on him as he walked through the tunnel, which I think is kind of bullshit. I gotta say, as a fan, like, that's fucked up. I don't care. He wasn't even the guy that did it, is a thing too. Like, Wallman is the one that had the whole incident. But like, come on.
Disrespectful. Yeah. Be classy.
That's really disrespectful. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
I hope that fan gets either barred from the arena or has some sort of penalty or something on them.
Yeah.
Not that you can really penalize them, but like, just be like, hey, you are banned from this for X, Sorry.
Well, so she did it, and then she was standing right next to her boyfriend, and her boyfriend kind of like realized what she did and gave her this look of like, why the fuck would you do that? So like, hopefully she at the very least got an earful on the way home, because
I shit you not, and I can guarantee every arena has at least one. Right? I thought we had 2, but it's just the t-shirt guy that goes to different stadiums, and he's a well-loved Wild fan, but I think he started with the Wild. But we had a fan called Crazy Amy. And this was like back in 2000 to like 2004 is when I remember her. We knew her by face because she would get trashed and end up on the Jumbotron. And then she got banned. And I don't remember what she did to get banned. If you're into that juicy nugget, I don't know. I don't even know if Amy was her real name. We called her Crazy Amy. My grandmother gave her that name. If it's not her real name, if it's not your real name, I'm sorry. Not really. I remember you fucking 20 years later for your shenanigans. All right. And if you shenan once, you're going to shenan again. So.
So I think the water incident that he got fined for is he sprayed water towards the bench. Unfortunately, he also kind of got some broadcasters in the middle of that because they have that whole, and so he's definitely gonna get fined for that. But I think it's because earlier in the game, I forget who it was, but somebody took his glove, and so he was just kind of upset about it. But unfortunately, you can't get a camera in the crossfire, so.
At least one that doesn't have a raincoat on it,
Right. $10,000 to Wallman. That's
who doesn't have a condom on? What? Sorry.
Cameraman. Not anymore.
Not anymore. He took it off before the game.
I will say it was funny because you could see that like when TNT or Max or whoever was, they were recording it and stuff. As soon as they saw that, they tried to like move the camera away from it so you couldn't see it, but like that's where the action was, so they had to inevitably that was the background of like the fight or the hit that was going on, which was hilarious.
This is why I hate watching hockey on TV though, because you don't get to see what you fucking want to see. Right. Whether it be where the puck actually is, the fight going on, or people spraying each other with water. I want to see it. I want to see all of it. I have ADHD. I want to see all of it.
Yeah.
And that's also why I like the fights, because, you know, anybody throwing a punch at another guy's face makes me go, what the fuck just happened? But on that note, we don't have any injured boys. I just refreshed.
Oh, nice.
Nobody's we've never. What the fuck is wrong with me? Nobody we haven't talked about as of yet.
Well, that's good.
And Florida has nobody injured, and Edmonton has 2.
Which they've been
For
out
those
for a
of you
while,
that track
so.
that. Right, yeah,
A hot minute.
Yeah.
The most recent one was the end of May. So I think it was May and March, if I remember right. But yeah.
Well, in
Good
that
talk.
case, I guess it's time to kick it to our imaginary friend, Chris, who's going to come in from the future, past, present, who knows, for everybody's favorite segment of the week. And that would be the Obscure Player of the Week. There you go.
Yes, that is me. It is I. I am here on vacation. As you can see, I have my friends here. But to pass along with my favorite segment, the Obscure NHL Player of the Week, thank you for the buzzards and the duck noises. Speaking of ducks, this is a player that's near and dear to my heart by the name of Chris Kunitz. He was born in September 26, 1979 in Regina, Saskatchewan. Cue the song. This left-handed left winger was undrafted, but his career started in 2003, playing until 2019. He played for multiple teams. He actually had quite a successful career. He played, let us see. He played for the Anaheim Ducks, my Anaheim Ducks, the Atlanta Thrashers, who obviously are no longer a team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, Tampa Bay Lightning, and Chicago Blackhawks. In his long, lengthy 1,022 game career, he had 268 goals, 351 assists, 746 penalty minutes. This man was a legend both in the box and out of the box. He was in the NHL a first All-Star team in 2013, and he won 4 Stanley Cups. 3 of them coming with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and 1 of them coming with my Anaheim Ducks. Retiring in 2019 with the Chicago Blackhawks. I'm a big Chris Kunitz guy. I think he brought a lot to the table. My dad is a Penguins fan. I'll tell you, he also pretty high on Chris Kunitz. After his retirement, he joined the Blackhawks organization as a player development advisor, as well as a member of the coaching staff of the Blackhawks American League affiliate, the Rockford Ice Dogs. Kunitz won a gold medal in the Olympics, and he also won a silver medal at the 2008 World Championships with Canada. Chris, we love you. I miss you as a Duck. You'll forever be a Duck. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys. Also, none of you guessed my favorite color correctly. It's way simpler than you're making it. Back to everyone in the past.
Well, thank you.
No longer
Pat.
surprised that was our Obscure Player of the Week.
Thank you, past / future / whenever, Chris. We appreciate that.
Current, maybe? Timeline?
Yeah.
I don't
Who
know.
knows?
Nobody
Time
ever
will judge.
wishes for the current timeline, okay?
Well, no, because you're already in it. That would be weird if someone just apparated in your fucking living room. That'd be strange.
Right, but like I feel bad for those living in the current timeline.
Yeah. All right.
quit.
Well, any updates? Any last words? Last words sound so dark. Any final thoughts?
Well,
Bury me with a bed of roses.
Maul, anything from you?
Hopefully the Oilers can rally it back and we can get some good hockey, because I don't want to see a blowout.
Blowouts are never fun, especially when you're unprepared.
Yep.
That's true. Well, If you guys haven't already, be sure to like this episode. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel or to whatever fucking podcast platform you're on. Do the equivalents of liking and subscribing, wherever that may be. I don't know. You could be listening to this on fucking Fixer or whatever it's called. Stitcher? Is that what it is? I don't know.
What?
There's like some new podcasting app. I don't know. Wherever you're listening to this, show us the love, okay? And in the comments, let us know who you think made out the best in the PWHL expansion draft, whether that is Seattle or Vancouver. And also, let us know if you think Minnesota Frost can have a three-peat this year. Is it still possible? Or are their hopes and dreams shattered? Let us know in the comments down below. And with that, we thank you all so much for joining us this week, and we will see you mother puckers in the face-off circle next week.